evening, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 457. Today is Friday, August 23rd, and I am King, your host, and of course we have a very special guest with us, none other than CryptoBlood. Let's welcome him back to the show.
What's going on? How you guys doing out there?
And just to let everyone know, so we've already experienced a little bit of technical difficulties. It turns out Google Hangouts is shutting down, and YouTube, probably within the last week or two, just cut off Google Hangouts from doing our live stream. So we're probably using 3 different softwares to make sure this stream happens. So you might get a slight delay. If so, no worries. We'll be releasing this podcast later on today, and you'll be able to hear everything, very well. So no worries there, but just wanted to make sure everyone had the heads up. I want to go ahead and give some quick shout outs. What's going on? Tiffany from New York, Clarence Dennison, Milto, Donald Muhammad, smash that like and share. That's right. Clarence said Bitcoin at G7. That's right. Tony Nolly, Cryptonomics, Crypto Bully. There we go. Sending greetings from the nation's capital. Everybody's coming in. Love to see that. A lot of top stories today. Again, I'm glad we have CryptoBlood here to get his insight. We know he knows a lot about the crypto space, been around for forever. So happy to have him here. But of course, we'll be talking about regular price points for some of the top coins. Bitpay blocking that $100,000 Bitcoin donation to Amazon Rainforest fire charity. Libra members are considering quitting the project due to government pressure. 4 reasons why Ethereum Classic is soaring, up 40% this week. Binance and their leaked images, as well as what they plan to do to the accounts who supposedly got hacked. And last but not least, EOS is the de facto centralized, says Wikipedia co-founder, and a couple of other cool stories that have been floating around. So again, we have CryptoBlood here. Happy to have him here. And of course, first thing, just want to go over some of these prices from the last 24 hours. Bitcoin at $10,400, up 2.38%. Ethereum $193, up 0.45%. Litecoin $75, up 2%. XRP 27 cents, up 2%, and Bitcoin Cash $312, sitting at up 0.23%. So just go ahead and kick it off, CryptoBlood. I know we don't have to go in detail or in depth when it comes to prices and price points, but what is your overall sentiment on the market right now? What are your thoughts? What are your strong coins? What are you thinking?
Bitcoin is king, man.
There we go.
Like your name, King, right? So I think it's a lot of capital is all they're going into Bitcoin, and fleeing the alts, and so I think you'll get a sloshing effect though. I think at some point you will start to get some of the alts start to rise here in the next couple of months, but it's not going to be anything like it was in 2017. And we talked about that at the big Max Bitcoin Rage tour. Me and Max Kaiser talked about Bitcoin and it ended up. He actually mentioned, and I saw this article before he mentioned it on Twitter, but he talked about how really Bitcoin's dominance is at 90% if you do some type of weighted average. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see him talk about it, but we discussed it actually yesterday. They're saying because people aren't weighing in liquidity.
Yeah. So really, its dominance is at 90%, man. So that shows it all, But Bitcoin I think will head higher into the latter part of the year. But I think ultimately you will have to be selective on the altcoins you pick. But if you pick the right ones, you will see a bigger percentage gain in the altcoins versus Bitcoin by the end of the year.
Speaking of alts, is XRP, is Ripple dead, or are they still going strong? What's your thoughts?
Man, Ripple been dead, bro.
Oh,
I don't mess with Ripple, man.
They're going to come after you. They are going to come at you ferociously.
I want you to come up to Detroit, Ripple people.
Oh man, they're coming.
I'll rip you a new one.
All right, so listen. Speaking of Detroit, of course, my hometown as well. So shout out CryptoBlood. You see him with the Red Wings hat. I need to come back and visit. But you just mentioned as well, you actually just had an event there you hosted, the Max Bitcoin Rage Tour, where you had Max Kaiser there. I actually pointed our crowd to your video yesterday. I saw you release about 3 or 4 separate videos where you interviewed Max Kaiser. You had a whole event in Detroit. Max Kaiser's there. I know PFC Wells Trek came down and see you as well. I see him in the chat room right here. What's going up, Trek?
I saw Trek in the chat room.
What was that event about? How was it? Tell us all about it. And how did you know? What made you want to put that together?
Actually, man, Max hit me up. He was like,
hey, listen, hold on. That's when you know you got clout, people. Hey.
Nah. I was shocked. I mean, I know Max. I do know Max. I've known him for a couple years, but it was a pleasant surprise to have him reach out to me and say that Stacy and him wanted to come out. So, yeah, man. So we put it together. I had him stay downtown, the new Detroit. Had him laying up in the Shinola Hotel.
You didn't want to bring him around Van Dyke and Jefferson? What's going on?
No, sir.
Ain't bring them to Gratiot? Why not?
I had to give them the good impression of. See, first impression is a lasting one. So
there we go.
Do it right for them, and they had a great time, man. We went to dinner Thursday, and hung out, did the Detroit Roots tour on Thursday as well, and they have a different view of Detroit now for sure. They had never been. They thought it was a shoot 'em up, bang bang type of situation. Everywhere it is still in some areas. So,
we were joking about that earlier. We was like, let's not give people a false sense of security now to start floating around the city.
Don't get it twisted. But they had a good time, man. And then Friday we had the event, Max Bitcoin Rage Tour, Detroit, and he's gonna go out to Baltimore, see Trek, and do it out there as well. And we just had a great time, man. Had a really great time.
Nice. That's good to hear. And yeah, Trek, I can't wait to see that one. I just saw you in here. We need to have you on here as well then, so we can talk a little bit more about that. All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and start getting into some of these top stories. Top story of the day, Bitpay is in the news. Bitpay we've actually been talking about for a while. We used to do a little bit of business through them before they basically cut off all the mom and pops, which we told people about. We understood the business move. They're only going toward institutions. But it is getting ugly. It looks like BitPay blocks a $100,000 Bitcoin donation to Amazon Rainforest Fire Charity. Right now, it looks like, according to a social media complaint by Amazon Watch, an organization which seeks to support the Amazon Rainforest ecology and indigenous peoples, the payment failed to pass BitPay's internal checks. They reached out to BitPay. They didn't really get much back. But BitPay said when they finally did respond, they said that the program, or the reason why they couldn't do it, is because of something that's been programmed and that they actually couldn't change it themselves. They say it's actually impossible to automatically change it, and that this donation organization must submit separate documentation. So right now, people are saying this is another reason why we need to go open source and leave the likes of BitPay alone. Something I kind of been saying, I get it, again, for businesses, but BitPay...
What's the point, bro?
Right.
I don't understand why you need a payment processor for cryptocurrencies.
Thank you.
I mean, there are so many open source platforms that you can use. There's no need for any of those guys, man. This is what I mean. Like, we have to really educate people on how to really leverage crypto, It's just ridiculous.
And it's crazy that these are the derivatives on top of derivatives when you talk about the crypto market in general. Like, this is what the government and big institutions are trying to sell you, that, well, you need to use BitPay or you need to do this. We joke all the time, like, man, send them some BitBean, send them some Dogecoin. You can send them anything. You don't have to send it through these channels and these sources. But, I mean, this is what regulations have brought us, I guess.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's ridiculous. I use coin payments.
Yeah, we use coin payments in here as well.
Yeah, they're no KYC. You just plug and play, boom, and they just route things because you do want to have when you get new payments to have a new wallet for every payment. So you can that's one reason. But yeah, man, you don't need those other third parties.
So, speaking of some of these third parties like that, actually, while we're on the topic, specifically, how BitPay has been operating, as of late, what are your thoughts? And I'm assuming they do it because of the SEC, U.S. government, everybody who's giving them that tap on the shoulder. But I would like to know your thoughts on, of course, Veritasium and everything that's been going on there, Reggie Middleton, and the government literally coming for his neck. What do you think about that? And actually, hold on real quick.
Not a good look, bro. Not a good look.
There we go. I had to get you on the speaker because it looked like a couple people said they didn't hear you. So switching you over to the speaker.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can, and it looks like the speaker does not want to work today. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep it on here. All good. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Veritasium and how the SEC went after them or is going after them?
Not a good look, man. Not a good look. I don't think, I understand what Reggie's trying to do here, but I don't think it's going to work, man. I just don't. People are saying that, Reggie's technology was a threat to the banks and stuff. It wasn't a threat to the banks at all. They have enough resources to build their own platform. They don't need Reggie's, but what they do want to do is shut him down, And so, hey, it is what it is, and he's going to have an uphill battle. I didn't know he spent $1.2 million since inception, or actually since he started having communication with the SEC on going back and forth. So he's...
No, go ahead.
Yeah, he spent $1.2 million already.
This is my beef with the government. I mean, at the end of the day, they're extorting people. Like, this is gang if I've ever seen gang to the fullest. Like, this is extortion. But we talked about this with Sammy the Bull Gravano in his interview. I think it was on ABC or something. He basically was like, the mafia actually used the unions to shut down competition. You talk about trucking, and, whether it's garbage trucks or construction trucks, they would just do things like, all right, well, we're going to need to inspect every truck today on your lot or something. And trucks can't leave and they get bagged up. And eventually they do this every day until your business starts failing. You have to close down your shop. And that's the same tactic they've been using on crypto companies. And I think Reggie Middleton, Veritasium, is a perfect example. It's like you just say he spent, 1.6 million, 1.2 million?
1.2 million.
1.2 million on fighting the SEC to even stay alive.
Yep.
And then they come back and say,
and we're now just getting started with the trial. so he spent 1.2 million up to this point. So he's going to spend in trial and in litigation. He's going to spend another $1.5 million, $2 million easily.
So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on in general of his project? I know earlier we even did back in the day when we were doing the best altcoins we buy early 2017 or mid 2017. We had Veritasium on there when it came out. We were like, hey, this is at the moment. We were like, this is a good one to buy. Watch your money stack up a little bit. But what do you think since its inception? Is this a solid project? Should the SEC be going after them? Is he in the right or wrong? I mean, what are your thoughts? I guess in general.
I like Reggie, the person. I don't necessarily like Veritasium, the project, especially when he pivoted toward precious metals, back crypto. There's no need for a precious metal back crypto.
Said the same thing.
Yeah. So I don't agree with that. But as a person, I've been following Reggie before he started crypto. When he was Max Kaiser, he used to go on Max Kaiser report all the time. CNBC, he won best trader twice in a row, 2 years in a row. Like, I've been following Reggie for well before that, so I respect him from that perspective as what he means for a black male in finance. Like, I love that. So yeah, but the project, no, I'm not. I wasn't a fan of it, and that's my take on it.
I'm kind of with you on that too. I like him as a person. I like some of the work he's done as well. The project, same. Wasn't sure of it initially. Then the pivot to the metals, like you said, I never was a huge fan of that. But I mean, I guess we'll see. It looks like a few people. Morse code was going on. Morse code is saying Reggie's going down, bro. It wasn't a project. It's what he and his son did with the project handling of the funds.
Yeah. So I read over the article, the report from the SEC. He. And I said this in a video I did. I said he's not going to get out of this unscathed. He may be able to beat a couple of them because it was a couple things that SEC did, in my opinion, that were kind of shady.
Of course.
But him getting away with all of it, not going to happen, bro.
I mean,
not going to happen. So
at the end of the day,
pay some fines.
And I was just about. Oh, you took the words out of my mouth. At the end of the day, we know what this is about. You made money and you ain't break us off. I don't care what you're doing is right or wrong. You ain't break us off. Special investigator, all right, it's a problem. But it's crazy to see that, and hopefully it resolves itself. I mean, more to come, right? Milto.
Yeah, Reggie a fool, man. I see Morris Code saying he had a conversation with him saying he never had an ICO. Yeah, that he definitely had an
Hey,
ICO.
it's time. Hey, listen. It's time to start covering down. People like, look, ICO. I don't know what that is or what
What
you're
does
talking.
ICO mean? IOU? What?
Right.
I don't know what ICO mean.
Milto said another money grab. Crypto Bully said the U.S. government the biggest and baddest gangster in the world. So that's the thing for me is just I'm on both sides of the fence. It's like I get why they're going after some people, but it's also like you're going after people who made money. Like it's pretty simple. They went over after that ICO rating company from Russia who was giving
Yep.
fake ICO ratings for $270,000 almost, and it's kind of the same thing. I was like, you're going after them for what they did in 2017 and early 2018 before you guys even put out any guidance, but you're going back
Yeah.
after these people.
That's weird, isn't it? There's no way to win with that one.
There's no way to win. So
No way to win with that one. So I agree, man. It's a sad situation. He's not gonna get out of it. And the thing is, man, this is the bad part. The SEC came after him 4 times, and he told them, I'm not shutting down anything. So that to me was a wrong move. Like I would have just shut down.
yeah, when they come,
Rescinded or whatever you call it. Give back all the money, and then figure it out. But I wouldn't go against the SEC like that.
right? No, I would say the only time you go against them, like you got to make sure your case is airtight, and then you also have to have the funding to say, all right, I'm ready to do this in the next 7 or 10 years, and we need to do it. But if you're in neither one of those positions, like you said, you just got to get the money back and be like, all right, whatever. Like next project.
Yeah.
Speaking of next project though, and the governments as well, let's go ahead and talk about Libra. Libra members consider quitting project due to government pressure. It looks like at least 3 of Facebook early backers for its planned Libra stablecoin launch are considering withdrawing their support in light of the fierce regulatory pushback. A report from the Financial Times on August 23rd alleges that 2 founding partners of Facebook's Libra Association have held discussions about what their, quote, right next step should be. Another unnamed backer purportedly concerned that their public support for Libra will draw unwanted regulatory scrutiny of their own independent businesses. This is one of those things I don't think anyone thought of as far as, when what was it when Libra came, was talking Facebook talking about Libra coin and all that, and they were coming out and they had, hey, we got Uber sign up over here, we got this company sign up over here, we got this company. It sounded like a grand idea. All these private billion-dollar companies were saying, hey, we're going to join Mark Zuckerberg, and we are going, even the Gemini twins, they were like, we're going to join Daddy again, and we're going to all become very wealthy together. And now because of the regulatory pressure, some of these people are saying, don't come after my business because of what I'm doing over here. In general, what is your thoughts on Libra? Will they succeed, or will this project get shut down? What do you think about these regulatory pressures?
I covered it the day the white paper came out and said on that day, before any other news outlet ever said anything, I said, not going to work. Not going to work. A direct threat to the fiat monetary system. Not going to work. And we see it playing out just like that. So no, it's not going to work in its current form from what they put in their white paper. So I don't even know, how do you even reconstruct that? But yeah, in its current form, no, it's not going to work.
So my thing is, when people say it's not going to work, like let's not BS it. Let's call it for what it is. Why wouldn't Libra project work?
Oh, because it's a direct threat to the monetary system. So they're using their Libra coin is a basket of a basket of fiat currencies. So 1/3 dollar, 1/3 yen, or most people know it as the Japanese yen, and then 1/3 euro dollar. So it's a basket of 3 fiat currencies. So that means they have access to 2 billion people around the world. If this thing takes off, which it would have been successful, that cuts the demand for US dollars by 2/3. As that thing grows. So that is something that the Federal Reserve does not want any parts of, and yeah, it's just not going to work, man, unfortunately. Will it work in other countries? I don't even think it'll work in other countries because it's the same threat that it is here in the States to those central banks in other countries.
But my thing is, when we say Libra isn't going to work, are we saying it's not going to work because if he tries to launch it, regulators are going to try to sue him from every direction, or will he actually get a like, hey, if you don't cease and desist this, we're coming to arrest you type of deal?
Yeah, it's not even going to get that far because of how big Facebook is.
They don't want to. They don't want to mess up that business for Libra.
Yeah, and they even said that themselves in a report. They said that and they said we're rethinking this because we don't want this to spill over and affect our main business because we have a fiduciary responsibility to stakeholders, shareholders on Wall Street. They can't mess that up. So yeah, it's just not gonna work from the logistics standpoint.
See,
now the technology and everything is great. It would have been, I think, a move forward. But yeah,
I will say the good thing is that it's causing competition finally now, between governments and everybody. Like, hey, if we don't get this together, a private person or company will. But I guess what I'm really digging down to and getting at, and you understand, is you wearing the Red Wings hat today. I don't get people like Mark Zuckerberg. I don't get companies like Facebook where you have Libra, you have a $2 billion market, or excuse me, 2 billion people for your market share, and you don't launch. Why not? That's my thing. Why not? I say launch it. Like, why not? You get what I'm saying? Like,
they can't leave. They wouldn't be able to do it here in the States.
Because of what? Because a group of people comes up on a Tuesday morning and say you're not allowed to do this? What if he did it anyway?
He wouldn't, man.
Oh, I know he wouldn't, but I know he wouldn't.
It would affect the share price of his main stock, FB, Facebook. So at the end of the day, it's all about bringing value to his shareholders, and that will have a negative impact on the shares.
A negative, I would say negative short-term impact, because if you were to launch it regardless, which it would take off, you would still have a lot of money to fight back. But again, I know he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't put his primary business at risk. But it's just one of those things where I just wish to see somebody finally push the button and say, no, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not breaking any laws. If anything, the fiat currency that we have is everything wrong.
Listen, man, if they can do my man Gaddafi,
there we go.
Saddam Hussein,
right,
like they did him. Yeah. Don't you think they would, man? They would.
But that's my point. That is my point there. I'm not saying all of that could not happen. I am saying I am waiting for the person to be like, you know what? If this happens, let this happen and play out publicly for the first time ever.
It's not going to happen that way.
Oh, it won't. It definitely won't.
Organization. It has to happen in a decentralized manner. That's why Bitcoin, it highlights, and this whole situation highlights the importance of Bitcoin and decentralized networks. Because the governments don't have any one person to go after. They can't have a hearing with the Bitcoin founder and have them on, Capitol Hill, whatever, testifying. You know what I'm saying? So that really just, this Libra whole situation highlights the importance and the power of cryptocurrencies like the decentralized.
Right. Like I said, I'm glad that Mark Zuckerberg did it, because he definitely sent everyone into a fray, and it seems like they, for the most part, they forgot about Bitcoin, with the exception of that FUD piece the White House put out yesterday about how people are using it to buy opioids and fentanyl. Like no one was buying those drugs before cryptocurrency was just created 10 years ago. But hey,
fentanyl is bought with U.S. dollars.
Right, exactly.
Dead presidents is what fentanyl is bought with. So
there it is. All right, real quick, definitely want to go over Ethereum Classic. Haven't heard about Ethereum Classic in a while, but 4 reasons why Ethereum Classic is soaring up 40% this week. You can see this sharp little increase here. Looks like Ethereum Classic over the past 7 days has climbed from around $5.50 to roughly $7.30. Now at press time is at the 16th spot between Chainlink and Dash. I mean, crazy. You're talking about Ethereum Classic and Dash is at the 16th and 17th spot. Wow. First of all, because they were top 10 not too long ago. But some of the reasons being listed in this article are the Atlantis fork happening next month, which is expected to occur on September 13th, where members and developers have come to an agreement that the hard fork will happen at block 8,700,072. It's meant to improve security while taking into account the community concerns. Also, North Block Capital has joined ETC Lab Studio program. That's a London-based token investment group. North Block Capital, which joined the Studio program of blockchain developers organization Ethereum Classic Labs, as well as the expansion to Asia from North Block Capital And last but not least, the Ethereum Classic Summit in October. I don't think that has much to do with it, but there is a summit in October. So to me, this is really good to see. You talk about coins you haven't heard of in a while. Ethereum Classic definitely comes to mind. Like I said, they're in number 16 spot, which is
ridiculous.
Come on, you get what I'm saying? It's a good project. It's been around, and you had number 16. How is this possible?
Yeah, but it's just pure speculation, man.
Right.
That's all. These markets are so illiquid. 40% probably didn't take much volume to actually make that go up 40%. Look, man, if these blockchains ain't talking about improving their bandwidth, then I don't care what upgrade they're doing. I hear they're doing an upgrade that's going to help it be more compatible with Ethereum's network. What is that? That's taking a step sideways. It's not taking a step forward. Ethereum is slow. What are you trying to, become compatible with Ethereum for? I don't know, man. I just think it's pure speculation, and I would fade the rally. I would, I'm not giving advice, but I'm just saying if I were trading this, and if there was a market to short it, I would definitely be shorting it around here.
And I was actually gonna end it with something like that. As he just said, this is definitely the time to short it, because usually people, when I say usually, like 98% of the time, if it's in the news already, you definitely missed the pump. So it's time to ride that thing back down to what they said was at 530 or something, 550. It was at 550. Ride that thing back down to the 525 real quick, 515, and then go ahead and get ready to buy back in. So we'll see how that works out. Real quick, a few shout outs. See a lot of people coming in again. Sergeant Crypto, what's going on? Morris Code, Crypto Bully said Bitcoin is king, nothing else matters. For sure, that remains the same. Ray Motto, what's going on? Jeffrey Mills, Tommy Brown. I saw a couple more people just come at the end. Top Networkers Group, Crypto and Culture said goats in the chat. There we go. Oh man, Fool with Money, what's going on? CryptoBlood talking about frozen like Jeezy wrist. I love it. All right, Binance. Of course, I know you heard about this one. Binance leaked images overlap with those processed by third party, and now Binance is also saying they're offering VIP accounts to hacked accounts. So I'm assuming, I know you're up on this story, right?
Yeah, I covered this.
Right. Binance was, and the way I understood it too, I did say it looked like it was a third party, which is unfortunate because you get this pressure from the government to have all these KYC, AML laws and regulations. So you got to get either a compliance officer as well as a third party, unless you're going to open up your own shop, which most companies aren't going to do. And then the third party gets hacked, but it's a lot of your customers. Like, what are they to do?
This is the plight of having centralized exchanges, man. It's just what they're always going to be. It's like a honey pot. A honey badger is not a honey badger, but a honey pot. It's always that attack vector that's coming at these centralized exchanges. So you're going to continue to see hacks. Binance will get hacked again in the future, without a shadow of a doubt, in some form or fashion. To be expected, man. To be expected.
And as I said, it looks like Binance said, after all these KYC leaks, they're saying that they're actually going to, they reached out to potential victims. They're offering them lifetime VIP memberships. The company recommends this to all affected users applying for new identification documents.
That doesn't do anything for them. Their information is now leaked. So
right.
What is a lifetime membership to a crypto exchange going to do when people are using your information to do swiping in Atlanta?
It's better than the $150 Equifax is offering or something. All right, first of all, hold on, people. I gotta talk about this. You got some time, right? Crypto, you got like another 10 or 15 minutes. You good?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We actually never went back around this Equifax thing with the money. We've talked about the hack. We always talk about them. But here's when we know a lot of people here in our chat, our warriors have talked about the money too. So a couple things people need to know. If you are going to go ahead and get your claim from Equifax, it's actually a better deal to take the 10 years or whatever they have for the credit monitoring and ID verification, because usually that's going to run you like $25 a month. If you do it for 10 years, that already amounts to way more than the $150 you're going to get or supposedly get. Second thing is that $150, wherever they said the price was going to be, that's like basically they mathematically came up with that saying if this amount of people file claims, this is how much money we have for each person. They didn't account for 150 million people filing claims. So I think it's some crazy. I mean, it's a small number. Like if over 30 million or something people file a claim or something, or maybe 15 million, then that number goes from like 150, like it just shoots down to maybe you get $19, maybe you get $48, maybe you get 75. That whole 150 is not guaranteed to you. So it's crazy to see all that has been going on with Equifax.
Yeah, man. It's sad, man. And again, even with Equifax, these companies will forever be points of attacks, and they'll continue to get attacked. So, man, our information is done. It's out there on the dark web. Being bought with Bitcoin. So, what do you do, man? What do you do?
Yeah, I see some people saying it's at least freezing and glitching. Like I said at the beginning, people pardon the glitches. YouTube got rid of Google Hangouts, so we're both using third-party services. So if you see that glitch or whatever, pardon us, but we'll make sure we get this audio out ASAP as well. It's crazy to see that.
Yeah, but the blockchain will help mitigate these types of things if we can get that ball rolling. I know there are companies working on identity on blockchain and stuff like that. So, I see a future. I see a bright future, though, for, security and things of that nature.
How long do you think the ball is going to take to get this ball moving? Because, I mean, we know the benefits of blockchain technology. We know the benefits of cryptocurrency. And to be honest, the government knows too. They're not stupid. I mean, I was talking about it the other day. Some new alphabet agency task force just popped up for crypto or something else. I'm like, at the end of the day, they're doing this because you have this new agency. It needs funding. Taxpayer, I mean, it's a money thing. Like literally, we getting hired people. We got funding over here, jobs, all this, all that, and all this stuff over here. When the reality is like, you're making it harder on yourselves because the reality is the government could just send everybody to school for this new blockchain degree and buy some of our crypto of our own as a government, and then you never need to tax anybody again. But we're not going that route. We're saying, no, we actually want to keep taxing people. We want to keep going at the ICOs, and we want to keep throwing people in jail. So with that type of strategy and approach, do you think, is there a short-term win in this? Will the government, or will we start to see adoption in ways that we always talk about and dream of? Or is this something that's actually longer off than we think?
It's probably further off than we think, and probably looks different than what we think it will be. I think you will see a lot of adoption from private blockchains, which have no economic benefit to the masses for adoption of. So, even the likes of, EOS is the number one performing blockchain out there, has been for over a year and a half. But if these companies like EA Games or EA Sports or whatever, and, I don't know if you guys heard about PUBG, they're doing their whole little token. Those are all on private blockchains. So I don't know which direction the trend is going to go, but it's looking like majority of it is heading toward private blockchains, not the decentralized open ones. Because at the end of the day, major companies want to have control over their infrastructure, and public blockchains kind of don't give them that. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they're relying on the whole network, and that can be uneasy for many bigger corporations. So I think the public blockchains will have adoption from the smaller guys, and that's fine. I think there's power in numbers. So I think ultimately it'll just take longer, but ultimately I think the people will win.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's going to be used for what's supposed to be used for, peer-to-peer for the most part. So smaller regional type deals. But I honestly think it was about the beginning of this year. No, it was probably about sometime last year during the bull run. Not or bear market, not necessarily the bear market itself because of it being a bear market, but because of the regulators and the regulation. I knew it was coming. It was something I kept saying all throughout 2017. I was like, wait until Martin Luther King Day in January of 2018. I kept saying, I said, when everybody's back from holiday, it's about to go down. And it did. But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know it was gonna go down the way it went, even to today when you've seen them going after these ICOs from 2017. So I've even pushed my timeline out further, saying that this thing is going to take a while, not because it's not ready or the technology isn't there, it's going to take a while because of 10 people that own the Federal Reserve are puppeteering an entire government who are like pushing back against this.
Absolutely. And it will have to be, like I said, from a monetary perspective, that's a whole nother subject. I'm not sure when that part of it of crypto, the currency part of crypto, how that's going to play out. I'm just talking really kind of like enterprise smart contract blockchain side. You know what I'm saying? Like that one is somewhat more I can kind of forecast, but the currency monetary side of crypto, boy, that's going to be an interesting one, man, because they're going to come out with their own currencies, their own cryptocurrencies. And it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out with the government issued cryptocurrencies and how it mingles and interacts with the Bitcoins of the world.
Yeah. I was over here laughing at some of these comments right now. We're getting some hilarious comments in.
I know. I'm looking at them too.
Morris Code said Ethereum about to be like XRP. I ain't seen a damn smart contract yet that works. Yeah, we've actually talked about that one company, I can't remember, there's a third party company who are doing smart contracts and they're adding Ethereums on it. So they're basically just like, I think it was like Goldman Sachs or something back there, they just came out and said you don't even need to use Ethereum no more. We got you all soon. So we'll see what happens there.
Again, that goes to my point about private blockchains. They're like Hyperledger is a kind of a fork of Ethereum. People are using Ethereum source code in a heavily modified way in a privately run node type of environment, right? So they're able to get those transactions per second up, those CPS is way up to be utilized in a manner. But the public blockchain we know is Ethereum right now is garbage.
Right. It is. Looks like let's see. Ray Mata said Equifax says I got bad credit. They got bad credit and a bad rep now. I hope they go out of business. That is hilarious. But they're right. Look, how can a credit company who gives you bad credit have bad credit and still be in business? People, we are being like, the wool is over our eyes right now. This is crazy. They judge us for our credit and they have terrible credit.
Me. I'm going to start bill collecting on them.
Right. And Bluefig said, nah, brother, Credit Karma sent me an email referencing the HAP saying you don't need credit monitoring. We got you. There you go. This is hilarious.
This is crazy.
All right. Last but not least.
Make a good point about know your transaction. That's something I covered a couple of days ago, and that is in reference to Chainalysis, new software they have. And yeah, I mean, the deep state, man.
Wait, I'm not even up on this one yet. Tell me about this. Is this about like the dusting and stuff that's going on?
No, well, it could be. So that's funny you bring that up. We were talking to Max and Stacy after the event, and we were sitting down. They were having drinks and stuff, and she believes that the dusting attacks are actually government sponsored.
I wouldn't doubt it. I didn't want to go that far because I rag on the government enough, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, it makes total sense because there's no other reason for someone to spend that much money just to know who is who.
Right.
Hackers, them doing that doesn't make sense for them to do that. So yeah, I think it's governments doing the dusting attacks on Litecoin network. And yeah, the know your transaction is part of Chainalysis is a new service, and they can do live tracking now and pick up on fraudulent, what they call or label fraudulent transactions or suspicious transactions on the blockchain. So it's getting deep, man. It's definitely getting deep.
I mean, even after all that, no one realizes that all someone has to do is just go into the lab and create a privacy coin in 24 hours.
There you go.
But
privacy coins are going to be very precious in the future.
All right, last but certainly not least, I definitely wanted to say this story because I knew you were going to have some words for it. But EOS is de facto centralized, said Wikipedia co-founder. Larry Sanger, Wikipedia co-founder, does not want to develop his decentralized applications atop the EOS blockchain. He said, we cannot continue to build dApps on EOS if the network is de facto centralized in the hands of the Chinese. I've been making noise internally at EP about this since I learned about it earlier this summer. Sorry, but it can't go on much longer as far as I'm concerned.
So
Yeah.
I saw this. So if it was a whole bunch of American BPs, it wouldn't be centralized to him. Is that what I'm hearing?
Woo!
That's just open market. Yes, there is an issue. There are a lot of Chinese BPs on the list, on the top 21. But if you do your research on how the whole voting system works with delegated proof of stake, um, we need to, as a community, start voting them out, and we can do that. I think it's just not a big issue right now, because if they start doing anything nefariously, it can be mitigated fairly quickly. The network votes every 2 minutes. So we've got 21 BPs that are the main ones, but you've got a few hundred that are on standby. So it's somewhat of a concern, but we don't say that about, all of our electronics are made from China. We don't seem to have an issue with that.
Wow.
So it's free market, and they're kind of, I think, like 40% of the top 21 BPs are from out of China. Again, nothing against Chinese people. But it can be somewhat of a concern. That's not centralization, though. He's using that's not what that is. Centralized as far as region, yeah, but I don't see it as much of a problem at the moment.
So, are you still a fan of EOS?
Absolutely, it's the best we have at the moment as far as blockchain 3.0.
Okay.
If we want to roll out a real world DApp, it would have to be today. It would have to be on EOS. It would have to be on EOS. There's no other platform even close.
I can't find. I'm searching for the story, but then they have some other, one of their piece put out about them not too long ago, a FUD-like piece.
I don't know. I did see that one. The one you're talking about, the Wikipedia one. But it's always FUD around EOS because it's a superior blockchain.
Okay.
So I expect that, and it's not perfect by far. But man, if people start to really do their research on EOS, man, it's killing every other blockchain out there.
All right, well, hey, you heard it from CryptoBlood right here. Yeah, I definitely wanted to get your opinion on that because I can't remember, I can't even think of the article. Like, as soon as we get off, I'm gonna remember it. But yeah, I know it should be a little of a concern, but it's nothing that like, oh, I'm not using it because 40% of the BPs are from China. Like, what is that? I like that you actually say it. It's funny too when you mention things like that. It's kind of like the whole, and I'm sure you would get what I'm saying with this. People know I'm impartial, pro Trump, against them, whatever political, Democrat, Republican. I don't even know this. I don't pay no attention anymore, right? But it's one of those things where I know people really dislike them. A lot of people dislike them for a lot of reasons, and the same reasons is like, do you realize where we get our oil from and what they believe in? Like,
exactly.
Right. So I get what you're saying. It's like, well, because they're Chinese, business people or developers, you're going to look at it like that, but you want to look at the same way if they're U.S. people or people from Great Britain or wherever, when in reality, business is business. They can do you just as dirty, if not, depending on where you're at. So.
Well, like I said, man, all our electronics and stuff are made from China. So the compromise ain't going to be from, it's in all of our devices.
Right.
Every Apple phone is made from China.
Yeah.
Like Foxconn. Like, what? So are you not going to use Apple? No, you are. You're going to use Apple.
You're going to use this EOS blockchain, and you're going to use your Apple iPhone. Now shut up and get to work.
Exactly. No, it honestly, man, it just illustrates free market. Like, they have the resources to not monopolize the top BPs, but get very close to that. It's free market though. Like, so we got to work as a community to vote other BPs like EOS New York. They need to be in that top 21. I don't think they're in there anymore. So there are some issues for sure. There's issues with every blockchain, but this is the best one on the block. This is definitely by far. Check out blocktivity.info. You guys out there listening, blocktivity.info. You will see the utility aspect and ranking of all of the blockchains out there. EOS has been number one for over a year and a half.
I will pull that up as well, so everyone can get that link as well. Here, let me put it up. And I mean, I will agree with you. What you just said there isn't a. I mean, Bitcoin is still a scam to some people, right? So there literally isn't.
Man, Bitcoin is the worst when
right.
it comes to seriously. Like it's the worst when it comes to speed, efficiency, and all of that. But I mean, it works. It's the most secure.
All right, people. I'm putting this Blocktivity link in there. A couple last comments. Sergeant Crypto said, I just started coding on Ethereum and I'm forcing my teenage sons to learn coding as well. Told them they'll thank me when they're making six figures in a few months. That's what's up. I mean, I know one of the things we discussed last week or so is some of these government jobs are popping up now for blockchain, whatever, engineers and crypto this. I mean, they have one for Department of Commerce. I think they're paying about 150,000 or whatever to start for a 1 year contract for a blockchain engineer with 1 year of experience for some of the things they were asking for. So it's happening. It's slowly happening. So shout out to Sergeant Crypto for that.
Yep.
And then
that's a good move.
Yep, Morse code. We do use Brave in our details at the end of our message here on our video. We have the information for ours, and I'm sure